Welcome to today's Explainer. We're going to dive into a pretty profound paradigm shift regarding how we view human relationships. Think about it. We interact with people literally every single day, at home, at work, out in society, but how often do we actually stop and look at the invisible mechanics driving those interactions? Well, today we're going to break down the core universal human values directly from the source material to understand what truly makes or breaks our connections with others. But before we get into the heavy theory, I have a question for you. Do you evaluate yourself the exact same way you evaluate others? Be honest. When you make a mistake, what do you tell yourself? And when someone else makes that exact same mistake, what do you instantly assume about them? Keep that thought in the back of your mind, because we are going to expose a fascinating psychological double standard that, let's face it, almost all of us are guilty of. Okay, let's jump right in. Here is our roadmap for today. 1. The core of relationships. 2. Trust. Intention versus competence. 3. Respect versus differentiation. 4. Foundation to complete value. And 5. Family, the basic unit. Module 1. The core of relationships. Now, the source materials state something really fascinating right off the bat. Relationship is, and it exists between one Jivan and the other Jivan. The big takeaway here is that relationships already exist. We are naturally born into this massive social web of interdependency. You don't have to invent your relationship with society, you're already embedded in it. All we really need to do is recognize that relationship and understand it. But you're probably wondering, what exactly is a Jivan? The text defines Jivan as the self, or the I. It's the conscious entity inside of us. If you think about it, your physical body doesn't desire trust. Your hands and your eyes, they don't demand respect, right? It is your inner consciousness, your I, that actually feels those things. So when we talk about relationships, we aren't talking about two physical bodies interacting. We are talking about one I relating to another I. Understanding this distinction is absolutely crucial. It's the first real step to harmony. Section 2. Trust. Intention versus competence. So what do you understand by trust? Trust actually splits into two distinct aspects. You've got intention, which is what someone inherently wants to do. It's their natural acceptance to do the right thing. And then you have competence, which is their actual practical ability to pull it off. We constantly confuse these two. Every human being fundamentally wants to do what is right, but a lot of the time, the competence is just lacking. For example, think about a coworker missing a crucial deadline. They likely didn't intend to completely sabotage your project. They just lack the time management skills or the resources in that specific moment. Remember that question I asked you at the very beginning? Well, here is the aha moment. When we judge ourselves, we judge based on our intention. We tell ourselves, hey, I meant well, I just messed up. But when we judge someone else, we look at their lack of competence and mistakenly conclude that they had bad intentions. We immediately say, oh, they totally did that on purpose. This everyday hypocrisy is literally the birthplace of mistrust. So the crucial point here is how we react to this. When we are assured of the intention of the other person and find that their competence is lacking, we naturally become a help to them. We try to educate them or assist them. But the second we doubt their intention, we get into opposition. We instantly become adversaries. Realizing that intention is universally positive is a real game changer in how we handle the mistakes of others. Moving on to Section 3, Respect versus Differentiation. This brings up a pretty vital question. Why in the world do we equate a larger paycheck, a higher corporate title, or even physical strength with being a more respectable human being? We run around exhausting ourselves trying to become special, just to earn respect. But evaluating someone based on their bank account or their body, that isn't respect at all. The source explicitly contrasts true respect with differentiation. Respect simply means right evaluation. It's about accepting someone's individuality and evaluating them correctly as a fellow I, recognizing that their basic aspirations are exactly the same as yours. Differentiation, however, is a complete lack of understanding of respect. It's evaluating people based on special positions, which inherently and inevitably leads to discrimination. And this brilliantly illustrates the trap we fall into. Currently, society wrongly splits our evaluations into three really shallow branches. First, the body, where we judge based on sex, race, age, and physical strength. Second, physical facilities, where we judge based on wealth and job titles. And third, beliefs, where we judge based on different isms and sects. None of this is right evaluation. None of this is true respect. When we substitute true respect for shallow differentiation, the consequences are honestly severe. Differentiating by the body leads to gender bias, racism, and generation gaps. Differentiating by physical facilities causes endless class struggles and power plays. And differentiating by beliefs, that leads to communal violence and wars. Pretty much all of these massive global problems stem from this one fundamental failure to rightly evaluate one another at the level of the Jivan.
Section 4, Foundation to Complete Value.
So let's enumerate some of the important values which lie at the base of good relationships. There are 9 definite values here, and they progress logically. Number 1 is trust, which is the foundation. Then 2, respect. Once you have those, it naturally leads to 3, affection, feeling related to the other. From there stems 4, care, nurturing their body, and 5, guidance, nurturing their right understanding. This leads to 6, reverence, 7, glory, 8, gratitude, and finally culminates in the 9th value, love, which is the complete value. Let's look a bit closer at the bookends of this list. Let's start with the bedrock. The foundation value is trust. As we talked about earlier, it is the absolute starting point. It's the baseline assurance that the other person inherently wants you to be happy and prosperous. Without trust, you are just treating others as adversaries. You literally can't reach affection or care without first locking in this solid foundation. And way at the other end of the spectrum is the complete value, love. Notice how the text defines this. Love isn't just a fleeting romantic emotion here. It is the ultimate, complete expansion of affection. It starts with identifying that you are related to one human being, and it slowly expands until you feel a sense of relatedness to all human beings. It's the exact value that shifts us from a fragmented, battling society into an undivided world family. Finally, Section 5, family, the basic unit. The text states that the family is the basic unit of human interaction. Do you agree with that statement? Because it makes a lot of sense. It's the anchor that gives us roots to hold and wings to fly. More importantly, it's our natural laboratory. It's where we test all these values every single day. If we can't recognize the I interacting with the I or separate intention from competence with the people living under our own roof, we're definitely not going to be able to do it out in the broader world. So, let's see how this builds into a practical framework for harmony, starting right at home. Step 1. Recognize that the relationship already naturally exists. Step 2. Identify these definite feelings, trust, respect, affection, between your I and their I. Step 3. Fulfill those feelings correctly, making sure you use right evaluation instead of differentiation. And step 4. The natural outcome of this whole process is just mutual happiness. So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with a final thought. When you see your family, your friends, or your colleagues later today, how are you going to evaluate them? Are you going to get caught up in differentiating them based on their physical traits, or maybe their temporary lack of competence? Or will you actually connect with their true inherent intention to be happy and to make you happy? The mechanics of relationships are right there in front of us. We just have to choose to see them.